Right now in the US, 1 in 8 adults says that they have zero close friends. And that number has quadrupled since the 1990s. And on top of that, the time that we spend with friends has been cut in half. In 2003, people spent about an hour a day hanging out with their friends. But by 2020, it was down to about 20 minutes. The US Surgeon General is calling it an epidemic of loneliness. Roughly half of US adults said that they feel lonely. And on any given day, about 1 in 5 said that they felt lonely most of the day yesterday. And here's the crazy part, right? We got more people on our phone than ever, but yet we feel more lonely than ever. And if you're like me, you got a full contact list, but sometimes your heart just feels empty. You've been used, ghosted, only call when someone needs you. This video is for you. Today, let's talk about real friendships, ones that save you, shape you, and sometimes expose how you really feel and what you really believe about people, yourself, and God. Growing up, I moved around a lot, and that meant constantly making new friends, getting close to them, then moving again. But in late elementary and middle school, I had this one friend that I'll never forget, my friend Pat. Pat lived about a quarter mile from me. We would ride bikes, go to the pool, and hang out about every single day. The friendship was simple and innocent, but what made it powerful wasn't what we did together, but what he chose to do for me. Middle school was rough. I was small, pretty awkward, and there was a group of kids that they targeted me about every day. They bullied me so bad that it felt like a war zone sometimes. And it's not that I couldn't stand up for myself, but when it's 3-on-1, 4-on-1, and you're a small kid, man, that's hard. But what I loved about Pat was that every single day he would invite me to sit at the lunch table with him. When they went outside, he would invite me to play hacky sack. Now, kids, hacky sack is a little game with a bag filled with sand that you kick around. I'm just playing. And at the time, he probably had no clue. But that decision to let me come hang out with him and his boys, man, it really mattered to me. It made me feel special, important, like I mattered. I remember when I met him and he used to talk about his cousin Sean, right? This kid that would, he rode dirt bikes. He'd do Supermans on a BMX bike, backflips on a BMX bike. And I met him. It was like meeting a king for me. And it was somebody I really looked up to because of the skill level he had, right? And everybody liked him. The girls liked him. He was pretty popular. And the fact that Pat would invite me to come hang out with him and Sean and Daniel and these other kids, it was really powerful for me. And the thing that I really admired about Pat and Sean was their friendship. Even to this day, they're best friends. And I may have been an easy target because sometimes these kids chose to humiliate me, but the fact that I was part of this group at times and that I was able to come in and hang out and laugh and joke, that was so powerful to me. And here's what's wild. Looking back now and looking at some research shows that having even one close friend can protect you from the worst impacts of bullying. And kids that have a real friend are less likely to be targeted and they recover better from the bullying when it does happen. And Pat, he was that buffer for me. He didn't save me from every bad day, but he was always there as a friend, always someone that I could trust and count on to be there for me. He stood between me and complete isolation. Eventually, I moved 800 miles away and that friendship faded, but it left a mark on me. It showed me what it feels like when someone chooses you, not for what you can do for them, but because they actually care. After moving to California to start my freshman year in high school, I can't say that I ever had a friend like Pat ever again. Most all my new friendships were built around what we did. Skateboarding, skipping school, getting high, chasing whatever numbed the pain. One of my closest friends in that season when I moved to California was my boy Cody. See, we were a couple of the only white kids at our school. We met in health class and we instantly clicked. We ditched school every chance we could get, go smoke weed, pull off little hustles, and we even got scammed out of money more than once. On the surface, it looked like we were just two kids living it up, but under the surface, we were two kids that were really just broken, trying to feel okay. He was in foster care, my dad committed suicide, and my stepdad, he was either out at sea or teaching me lessons the hard way. We didn't know what a safe, long-term friendship looked like. So we made do by satisfying the flesh in any way possible. And here's the thing, when two people are desperate to feel loved, but neither one is healed, you can build a bond that is unbreakable and still be destroying each other. That's the kind of friendship that will ride with you to the club, to the trap, or to the grave, but won't sit with you in your brokenness and say, bro, this isn't who you are. And as humans, there's something in us that just loves an echo chamber, right? We want people who would say, you're good, you're fine, do what you want. No judgment, especially when we're young and desperate for acceptance, right? And it feels easier to be around people who won't challenge us, especially when we got parents that want to challenge us all the time. When I was hustling and doing illegal stuff, I knew it was wrong. There's no confusion there, no gray area. I knew, but my friends were doing the same thing. So it's like gasoline on the fire, right? Who can go the hardest? Who can pull what girl? Who can make the most money? And that kind of mindset is just devastating. And did these kind of friendships help me? No. But did they feel good? Yes. Yeah, we had lots of fun. We built lots of memories. But when I went to prison for possession with intent to distribute ecstasy, none of those people were there. All those people who loved me for what I could get them, they were gone. No letters, no phone calls, no messages, no visits. That was it. Adios, amigos. Before prison, we didn't have cell phones. The only influence we had was each other. Now you have phones, social media, influencers, and it's like an echo chamber on steroids. Teens today are spending 3.5 to 5 hours a day on social media, while time spent in person with friends has dropped to about 40 minutes a day, down from 140 minutes a day 2 decades ago when I was a kid. See, we've traded face to face connection for streaks, scrolling, and content. And it's not just teens, right? Adults are spending less than 3 hours a week with their friends, down from about 7 hours a week in the early 2000s. See, here's what's happening. We're surrounded by voices, but starving for friends. And I've seen this play out in my own family. When one of my daughters was becoming a teen, we decided to give her a cell phone, but my wife and I said we were gonna stay away from social media. We were just starting to learn how toxic it was for an adolescent brain and some of the behaviors that would come because of it. But I'm not gonna lie, my daughter was terrified to make friends the old school way because she felt like going up and saying hi and feeling a little awkward was a bad thing. So she begged for Snapchat. And what was the reason? Specifically so she could make friends. So we decided as parents that we would let her earn it. We gave her a long list of things to do over the summer, and she did every single one of them because she wanted it that bad. So, parents, use it to your advantage. But if I'm honest, we started to see things that were deeply concerning. See, today's teens are connected 24/7, but they report feeling lonelier and more emotionally isolated than ever before. On one hand, social media can help maintain friendships and build community for kids, especially those who feel marginalized. But for a lot of teens, constant comparison, cyberbullying, and living through a screen is replacing real world interactions, and it's crushing them. And studies even show that strong, high quality friendships matter way more for teen mental health than how many hours they spend on a screen. And here's the subtle deception: we started putting value in likes, streaks, views, and comments instead of hugs, presence, eye contact, and quality time. The enemy sells a fake belonging. You're seen, you're known. Look at all these followers. These people must care. The moment you're really in pain and you need somebody to show up at your door, those streaks can't save you. Those streaks can't hug you, and they can't comfort you. Those likes can't sit with you in the ER. Those comments can't watch your kids when their world is falling apart. When I got out of prison, I was in a completely different mindset, and I worked on making different kinds of friendships. I started going to church, and God started radically changing my life. People loved my story, my willingness to serve, and my availability. I got close to a guy at church, and honestly, he became my best friend there. And one day I told him I'd been smoking weed for about a week because of all the anger and the stress that I was feeling. I told him that I thought it was honestly helping me. He came to me and he said, "You need to step back from serving until you figure that out." My old mindset, that felt like betrayal. I was used to friends who never challenged me, hyped me up, and always backed my dysfunction. But he, on the other hand, was doing what real friends do, what real spiritual leaders should do. He was telling the truth in love, he was calling me higher, and he was setting a boundary. But instead of hearing love, I heard rejection. He hit the deepest lie in me. You're not good enough, and you'll always be disqualified. I didn't receive the correction, I ran from it. And that decision sent me into a downward spiral that lasted for about 3 to 4 years. I went right back to the lifestyle that God had pulled me out of. And here's what's crazy. Up to that point, a lot of people at the church called me friend, they called me brother. But when I started going through this again, they were nowhere to be found. Honestly, I think that they didn't know how to deal with me, a heroin addict who was really destroying themselves when they had no clue what that was like. They ghosted me. But you know who welcomed me back? the same crowd that applauded my bad choices. More transactional relationships of what can you do for me and what can I do for you. That season taught me a painful but powerful truth. Not everybody who smiles in your face is your friend, and not everybody who tries to correct you is your enemy. As an adult, friendships have sometimes just felt non existent. And because I moved around a lot, I don't have those lifelong friends that a lot of people do. I know a lot of people, I'm social, I reach out, I invite people over, I try to cook for them, serve them in any way that I can. But if I'm honest, over and over, I see the same pattern. People love me for my skills, right? My ability to build, to help, to serve, to create, but not always for me. See, I've been over backwards for people, supported their dreams, helped them build things, only to realize in the end that I was basically just a tool, not a friend. A lot of times I set things up with people in person, over the phone, and people say that they'll check their schedule and get back to me, or we might set something up and they call last minute and let me know that they can't make it or they're late, maybe even an hour late. That's happened to me before, and no apology, just, "Oh, what's up, bro? How you doing?" And if I'm honest, I'm getting real tired of people who say they're my friend and say they want to hang out, but nothing ever comes of it. We've even moved closer to people that we love, that we want to be friends with, and we even see the same pattern repeating, sadly. I'm constantly trying to set things up with people, but constantly nothing is happening. And if I'm honest, my phone never rings. But I'll tell you when it does ring, when somebody needs something from me. And if you relate to this, you know how heavy it feels. Your phone doesn't ring unless someone needs something from you. Your siblings don't call to check in. You start to think, is there something wrong with me? Maybe I'm the problem. Yes, there's things in all of us that need work, but the full truth is this: a lot of people would choose what's easy, what's comfortable, and what's beneficial to them. But that doesn't mean that you're unlovable or you're invaluable. It just means that this world is broken, people are broken, and we're in a friendship recession. But I do know that no matter how I feel about friendships, there is one friend who will never leave me or forsake me, and that's Jesus Christ, who came and died for you and died for me. Friendships don't thrive off convenience and vibes, they need substance. Real friendships need love and goodwill. Wanting the other person's good, not just what they can do for you. Trust. Keeping your word, guarding what they share, not working against them or behind their back. Respect. Seeing them as a person with value and limits, not just a project, not a resource. Honesty, right? Telling the truth, not manipulating, not hiding serious things that affect the relationship. Integrity and loyalty, showing up and keeping confidences, not turning on them when they're weak or inconvenient. Candor and accountability, right? Being willing to gently say hard things and to receive them because you care about each other's growth. Compassion and empathy, these are huge, right? Not just trying to fix them, but being present in grief, stress, and joy. And we all need emotional safety, knowing you can share sin, confusion, or doubt without being mocked, shamed, or dumped. And we got to be able to forgive and repair the relationship, being willing to apologize, forgive, and work through misunderstandings instead of ghosting and just saying, "Bye, Felicia." Seeing research backs this up, right? A massive analysis of over 300,000 people found that those with stronger relationships had about a 50% higher chance of survival than those with weaker ones. The health risk of having few friends is comparable to that of smoking 15 cigarettes a day and is more dangerous for your lifespan than obesity or lack of exercise. In recovery and mental health settings, strong social support and accountability dramatically improve outcomes. People connected to real communities and accountability partners are far more likely to stay sober than those who don't have them. And for kids and teens, having good friends can literally buffer bullying, cyberbullying, stress, and reducing depression and anxiety. So when God says it's not good for man to be alone, that's just not spiritual poetry, that's medical reality. From the very beginning, God designed us for a relationship with Him and with other people. But the enemy's strategy has always been the same: isolate, accuse, and divide. If he can get you alone, feeling unwanted, unseen, misunderstood, he can whisper any lie he wants, and you will start to believe it. And technology has become one of the slickest tools ever built for that. See, it rewards our brains with quick dopamine hits that hook us for hours. It convinces us that being alone with the screen is the same as being connected, and it's not. Meanwhile, our souls are starving for real connection, people who value us, support us, challenge us, and love us enough to tell us the truth. And if you've listened this far, you're probably feeling one of three things. I don't really have friends like that. I've been that using, flaky friend, or I'm both and I don't want to stay here. Here's the hope: real friendship is rare, but it's also possible. And God, He cares deeply about the relationships around your life. You can start changing your friendships today, not perfectly, but intentionally. This week, try three simple but powerful moves. Be the friend you wish you had. Don't wait for the perfect people to show up. Start becoming the person that you wish you had as a friend. Text someone and ask them how they really are. Show up on time. Keep your word. Choose depth over width. Having 500 online friends means nothing if they don't really know who you are and they don't know your story. Focus on 1 to 3 people that you can go deeper with. See, quality friendships are what protect your heart and your health. How about this? Invite God into your friendships. Pray, Lord, show me who's for my calling and who's just for my comfort. Remove what needs to go and send who needs to come. And make me a safe, honest, and loyal friend for somebody else. Let's be real. The world is getting noisier, but people are getting lonelier. We're more connected than any generation in history, but more and more of us are eating meals alone, scrolling alone, crying alone, and falling apart alone. But you were not created to do life that way. You were created to be known, not just noticed. To walk with people who will stand up for you in the cafeteria, sit with you in the courtroom, visit you in the hospital, and call you out when you're destroying yourself. So here's the challenge. Before this day ends, do one bold thing to push back against isolation. Call someone instead of just reacting to their story. Set a real date and time to meet up and actually show up. Or if you're really alone right now, start with this prayer. God, I'm tired of pretending I'm okay by myself. You said it's not good for me to be alone. So I'm asking you, send the right people, remove the wrong people, and teach me how to be the kind of friend I've always needed. See, the friendship recession is real. Loneliness epidemic is real, but so is the God who cares about you and wants you to have friends. You just need to tap into Him and allow Him the opportunity to provide the meaningful relationships that you crave. So are the real flesh and blood friendships that can literally help you live longer, heal deeper, and become who you were created to be. Don't settle for a life full of followers and empty friends. Step out of the echo chamber, step out of isolation, because the next chapter of your story might not be written by you alone, but by the friends God sends to walk beside you.